This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Hey guys, and welcome to All About Linux. Today I'll be testing and comparing the CPU, GPU and RAM performance of two gaming optimized distros, Garuda Linux Dragonized Gaming Edition and SteamOS 2.0. My test PC is sporting an AMD Ryzen 5 2400G CPU, an AMD Radeon RX 590 with 8GB of GDDR5 VRAM and 16GB of DDR4 2666MHz RAM. As Garuda is a rolling release distro and is using the latest bleeding edge kernel, and SteamOS is still based on Debian 8, that caused issues running some of the games, which was CSGO for Garuda and Trackmania Nations Forever for SteamOS. SteamOS also did not allow for Mangohood, the average frame rate logger, to run, so I had to use rough averages. Therefore, this test would not be as comprehensive as the usual ones. Anyway, I'll be running the KDE desktop for Garuda Linux and the GNOME and Steam Machine desktop for SteamOS. Let's get into this test. Starting with a game of War Thunder, with the graphics settings set to 1080p and a high preset, Garuda Linux scored an average frame rate of 93.5 FPS, 1% lows at 61.7 FPS, and 0.1% lows at 50.0 FPS. While on SteamOS 2.0, frame rates hover at around 95 FPS to 110 FPS. Overall, SteamOS performed slightly better and won this round. Next, I played a round of arms race for each version in CSGO. With the graphics settings set to 1080p auto, SteamOS 2.0 got around 100 to 120 FPS, with frame rates dropping to around 65 to 80 FPS during combat. One thing to note about SteamOS is that the maximum resolution is capped at 1080p, hence I was not able to play at 1440p like I did on all the other distros. In an online round of Trackmania Nations Forever, a Windows-only game, on Garuda Linux, the average frame rate was 121.9 FPS, with 1% lows of 91.4 FPS and 0.1% lows of 70.8 FPS. By the way, if you like this video, do consider hitting the subscribe and like button. Next, I did some tests to find out about the RAM usage for each version. To be fair for both distros, I left the Steam app and Simple Screen Recorder for Garuda Linux and the Steam Machine desktop and Record My Desktop for SteamOS. I was not able to use Simple Screen Recorder for SteamOS because the codecs were not working properly, and there was also no Simple Screen Recorder for Debian 8. When idle, Garuda Linux used significantly more RAM than SteamOS, with 3.3GB and 1.0GB respectively. Opening the start page of Firefox on both distros, RAM usages increased by a similar amount of 0.3GB for Garuda Linux and 0.4GB for SteamOS. Playing one of my previous videos, RAM usages increased by another 0.2GB for Garuda Linux and another 0.3GB for SteamOS, with Garuda Linux finishing this test at 3.8GB and SteamOS finishing this test at 1.7GB. This test is definitely a landslide victory for SteamOS. Finally, in the Geekbench 5 test, SteamOS edged out Garuda Linux by 2 points in the single core test and beat Garuda Linux by 226 points in the multi-core test, which is actually quite a lot. So, in conclusion, I think SteamOS 2.0 wins this test. It won the War Thunder, RAM usage and Geekbench 5 tests, while Garuda Linux Dragonized Gaming Edition won none of the tests. I think the victory of SteamOS for the RAM usage test was largely due to the lack of any apps or customizations on it compared to Garuda Linux. I would not recommend any of the OSs tested today to be used as a daily driver, especially Garuda Linux. Due to its rolling release bleeding edge nature, apps are updated to the latest version always, and some might not have even been tested yet. This might cause some severe system instabilities should Garuda Linux update to a buggy Linux kernel. For example, when I was testing Garuda Linux, I was using the 5.11.8 LTS kernel, which was launched around a week ago, and CSGO might have not worked because of the lack of support of the kernel. Now, I would like to talk about today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN protects your privacy and security online, unblocks geo-restricted content like certain Netflix libraries, with features like its ultra-fast 3,200 plus servers in 65 countries, industry-leading encryption, ad blocker, and many others. It works on an unlimited number of devices, from Android and iOS to Windows, Mac OS and Linux, to Chrome and Firefox extensions. Best of all, you can get Surfshark VPN today for the first 3 months free, then 81% off for just $2.49 per month. Do head over to surfshark.deal/allaboutlinux and get Surfshark today. Thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Do let me know if you have any suggestions for things or games to test in future videos. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and I will see you all in the next video.